I love Japanese food, and when I was in Japan, I felt the healthiest I've ever been because of the food. But eating Japanese food in America can be super expensive, so I decided to make easy homemade Japanese food for an entire week. Also, before you forget, make sure to like and subscribe. We'll start off with Monday, where the plan was to make chicken katsu curry with miso soup. Miso soup is pretty easy as long as you have the dashi. I prefer using 2 different kinds for a deeper umami. I then prepared cabbage so that I could make a bed for my chicken katsu, like how the fancy restaurants usually do it. Next is to pound the meat, and I really let the juices fly a little too much. But I really wanted the meat to be tender and to be the same thickness, which is why I cut some of the thicker side off so it would cook evenly. I had leftover curry from the week before, so I started heating that up ahead of time. You can check out my TikTok to see how I made that. For the katsu coating, I used panko, potato starch, and egg. Flour works as well, but potato starch gives it a lighter base coating, which makes it overall less heavy in my opinion. After I coated it well, it went straight into the oil to fry up. I'm not the best fryer, so there are some discrepancies with heat and time, but the nice thing about thinner pieces of meat is that you don't have to worry as much about undercooked meat. But as long as you get the crispiness, then it's all good. I finished the miso soup base by adding enoki mushrooms and some daikon, which I actually got from Korean fried chicken. After you bring the dashi to a boil, take it off the heat and add miso. You're not supposed to boil miso, FYI. It subtracts from the flavor. And then it's all about presentation. I'm not a top chef, but I know how to present things to make them look decent, especially for the camera. And that's a complete meal of chicken katsu curry with miso soup.
And if you could read my mind, will you make your way towards mine? And if you could read my mind, will you cross this room tonight?
Tuesday was fish day, and we went with a miso salmon. The miso marinade is pretty easy. 2 tablespoons of miso to 1 tablespoon of soy sauce, mirin, and sake, plus a dash of sesame oil. Mix it up well, prepare your salmon, and then coat the salmon with the marinade so that's covering both the meat and skin side. Then refrigerate it for between 1 to 2 hours. Apparently, because of the saltiness of the miso, it shouldn't be marinated for more than 2 hours. Once marinated, you want to rub the marinade off because the miso can easily burn. Then it's bake time, and it's actually pretty fast. Only 10 minutes of baking and a few minutes of broil to get the char. The aroma that this recipe gives off is super nice too, so I quickly plated with rice and some boiled spinach, and then started eating because I was starving. We all love nudes, but we also love noodles. So I chose udon for Wednesday's dish because it's very easy to prepare. I sliced up some green onions for seasoning, and I got some shabu shabu brisket from Costco of all places. The thin cut is perfect for udon as well. I fried up the green onions in sesame oil until they had a bit of a char, and then added in the pieces of meat. After everything was cooked, I finished it off with sugar and soy to give the meat some flavor. The noodles are easy to prepare, and I used the pack of soup base that was provided. I would have made my own, but there was weirdly a shortage of udon at the time, and the noodles were scarce. So I wanted to use the broth that was provided in order to not waste and also save time. But this was a quick, simple, and a good way to fill the Japanese food cravings that I had. I actually already had plans on Thursday, so I had to make something easy and quick before going out. I decided on miso eggplant and agedashi tofu. The miso sauce is pretty much the same for the salmon, so I'm recycling things that I already learned to make new dishes faster. Besides making the sauce, the only other thing is to fry up the eggplant and then add whatever else you want in it. I added green onions for flavor and ground beef for the boys, aka for the protein. After everything is cooked through, add the miso sauce and then you're good to go. For the agedashi tofu, I love soft tofu, and I know medium or firm would have been easier to work with, but as long as you're careful, using soft tofu is manageable. Make sure you get it as dry as possible by patting it down with a paper towel, then coat with potato starch and fry it up. On hindsight, I probably should have used a bit more oil so it wouldn't get stuck in the bottom of the pan, and lower the heat because some of the pieces got a bit scuffed. But as I said earlier, I had plans, so I was moving fast. The sauce for the tofu is a mix of dashi and soy sauce. And then I was eating nice and well before going out for the night. I was pretty tired by Friday and hadn't really even thought of prepared foods for the week. Now, I could have gone with sashimi, but I was already at Costco and they had a great tuna poke that was already prepared. I also added on aside a Caesar salad. I know, not typically Japanese, but you'll surprisingly find Caesar salads very prominent in Japan. And that was my quick and easy Friday meal. Homemade? Not so much, but raw fish doesn't require too much prep anyways. And that was my week of Japanese homemade meals. Make sure to like and subscribe for more videos like this, and I'll see you next time. Peace.